Documentaries can be fairly entertaining and educational, but the ones I'm going to be talking about on today's list will change the way you look at the world forever. From documentaries about missing and dead people, to another about the truth of our planet. Let's talk about these and more only in today's video. Top 10 dark documentaries that will change your life forever. Starting off this countdown, we have Voyeur. This documentary surrounds Gerald Foes and the motel he bought in the 1960s. Basically, he got this motel and then rigged it so that he could spy on all of the guests that stayed there. In particular, he installed grills in the ceiling of most of the rooms. Then he would go up to the attic and he could watch the people in the room through these grills. In particular, he liked to watch people get it on. It's just very unsettling, and honestly, might make you want to rethink spending the night at a hotel. I swear, the next time I stay over anywhere, I'm inspecting the place top to bottom. And at number 9, we have The Inconvenient Truth. And if you guys are liking this video so far, then make sure to give it a big thumbs up because it really helps us out, and I appreciate it, so hit it for me. Hit it, Fergie. I remember watching this documentary in grade 9 geography class, and it basically scared the crap out of me. Basically, the film is all about global warming and how humans are completely destroying the Earth. It also talks about how if we don't change our ways, we could quite literally make Earth inhabitable, which is absolutely terrifying. It then goes into detail discussing all the things that are happening to the world because of climate change, like the glaciers melting, and how that is rising our sea levels and then causing flooding. The whole movie just really emphasizes how badly we need to make a change, because we have really messed up Earth. With that being said, this documentary will scare you into wanting to make a change. It did that for me, and now I'm conscious about the little things, like making sure I always toss away trash in the appropriate bins. And I try to thrift all my clothes instead of buying fast fashion. So maybe go watch this documentary if you kind of want a reality check. In our 8th spot, we have the Ted Bundy tapes. Ted Bundy was an infamous serial killer who is responsible for the death of 30 women. Although it's thought that his number is probably much higher. The documentary Conversations with a Killer, the Ted Bundy tapes, features real-life recordings of Ted Bundy. Some were taken while he was on death row. Apparently, he thought that by doing these interviews, he could push back the date of his death sentence. Also, he had a habit of manipulating the reporters, and you can hear it in his voice and how he answers some of the questions. I think the scariest thing is how he never said that this is what he did, but instead he worded it as if like, suppose I was in this situation, or this is what the killer might have done. So that was his way of admitting to his crimes without actually admitting to his crimes, which is very creepy. This documentary will give you the creeps. Just hearing everything he did and seeing crime scene photos, it's just a lot. Coming in at number 7, we have Unsolved Mysteries. Now, this is a documentary show, and I am absolutely addicted to it. Each episode discusses a new mystery that hasn't been solved, like the disappearance and murder of Ray Rivera. In 2006, one night, Ray got a phone call and then rushed from his home. That was the last time anyone had seen or heard Ray alive. Days later, his body was found in a hotel in Baltimore. Apparently, he had jumped from one building and then crashed through the roof of the hotel. Except so many things don't add up. Like how his glasses laid beside him with no scratches at all, and they weren't broken by the fall. His wife also found a mysterious cryptic code left behind by Ray, which was taped to the back of his computer. Sadly, we still don't know what really happened to Ray. Then there's another story about a hairdresser named Patrice. She disappeared from her work in just 13 minutes. We don't know what happened within those 13 minutes or who took Patrice's life. All these real-life stories will have you on the edge of your seat. What sucks though is that they're unsolved, so you will desperately want to figure out what happened. While at the same time, you might kind of get paranoid watching this because, you know, it's all about scary abductions and murders. In our 6th spot, we have Deadly Dates. Who here is currently using a dating app? Maybe you're on Tinder or Bumble or Grindr, I don't know. Well, if you have a dating app, delete it right now. The documentary series Deadly Dates is all about the dark side of the web and the horrors of online dating. Because not everyone is how they appear to be online. Take the story of the young woman named Nadine, for example. Her story was featured in the first episode of Deadly Dates. Nadine met a man named Sammy Almari on a dating app. He told her he was a wealthy businessman and often spoiled her with gifts. They met up and everything was going fine until he became obsessed with her. And he was also very jealous. When Nadine tried to end the relationship, he ended up taking her life and then stole her phone to send taunting text messages to her family members. It's honestly a very dark case. I'm telling you, this series is gonna make you want to be single forever. It just shows you how scary people can really be, especially when you don't know everything about them. We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with Abducted in Plain Sight. This documentary really got to me. Basically, it's about a man named Robert Berchtold and his unhealthy obsession with the girl next door. Back in the 1970s, the Broberg family, consisting of Robert and Mary Ann and their 3 young daughters, Jan, Karen, and Susan, became really close to their next door neighbors, Robert Berchtold and his wife and kids. They became so close that they started referring to him as B, and he acted like the girl's second father. However, B became very obsessed with Jan, so much so that in 1974 he kidnapped her for 5 weeks. He groomed and brainwashed Jan and told her that they were abducted by aliens. He said the aliens assigned them with a mission to give birth to a child before her 16th birthday, or else, if they didn't, it would put her family at risk. He also fell in love with Jan and kept saying he was going to marry her. He also convinced Jan that she was meant to marry him. Then in 1976, B abducted Jan for a second time. He manipulated the family and Jan the entire time. Jan lived in constant fear that if she didn't do what the aliens were telling her to do, then her family would die as a result. Like, this is just an elaborate story all about brainwashing. It is so sick and twisted. The story will make you frustrated. In our 4th spot, we have The Faces of Death. This documentary is one that will change your life forever because it will literally scar you. It was so graphic that it was banned in 40 countries. It's just terribly gruesome. The film contains real footage of dead or dying humans and animals. In one scene, you see a body being sliced open in an autopsy. Another scene shows a man being electrocuted, and in another, you see a monkey get beat to death by a hammer. That's not all, the list goes on and on. There's just so much gruesome content shown in this film. It's basically like they collected the most disturbing real-life footages from all over the world and just compiled them together for this film. So, unless you never want to sleep again, don't watch this documentary. In our 3rd spot, we have Food Inc. I had to watch this documentary back in high school and it changed the way I looked at food for the longest time. Basically, it's all about how the entire food industry is run by only a couple of big organizations. And the way they are doing things aren't the most ethical. Like how chickens are being injected with so much hormones just to get them fatter, or how animals that are raised for killing are just treated so inhumanely. Like there's clips of them being whipped and pushed around. It will honestly break your heart. Not only that, but they share gross statistics, like how when you eat one hamburger, it actually is composed of multiple cows ground together. I don't know, that stuff just weirds me out. Like there's some things I just never need to know, and that was one of them. It also touches on the fast food industry and how it drastically changed throughout the years and how toxic it really is for us. I'm telling you, this documentary will change the way you see food forever. Moving on to number 2, we have Cropsey. If you guys are obsessed with urban legends, then chances are you have heard the legend of Cropsey. This tale originated in Staten Island, where kids believed that the boogeyman named Cropsey would live in the woods and would attack and disembowel the young. Other versions say that he is an axe murderer, but no matter what version you hear, basically he's just a killer that will hunt and attack the young. Turns out that the story of Cropsey is very much real, and this documentary talks all about it. In particular, they focus on Andre Rand. In 1987, Rand was responsible for a bunch of disappearances and deaths that happened in the 1970s. He even lived in the woods part-time. So he was the real-life Cropsey everyone was talking about. So yeah, the story of Cropsey was used to scare kids into coming home before dark. Parents used it as a cautionary tale. But in the end, the story is indeed real. And in our number 1 spot, we have Seaspiracy. This documentary is currently trending on Netflix, and everyone everywhere is posting about it. This documentary discusses the negative environmental impacts of fishing. From the pollution in the ocean to overfishing and ghost nets, it shows you just how problematic the big fishing industries are. And honestly, it makes you feel sorry for the marine life that we're killing. Like, a number of whales and dolphins have been found dead with plastic in their system. It's so sad and scary. I know a lot of people who have seen this documentary and are like, "Okay, I'm never eating fish again." So it's very eye-opening, to say the least. All right, guys, that's all for today's video. Let me know what documentaries you think I should have also included on this list. Maybe I'll do a part 2. Speaking of comments, let's move quickly along to our comment shout-out portion. I'll be shouting out comments from the video, Top 10 Dark Psychopaths Who Became Rulers. DJ Kitty Girl commented, "You guys are literally the best channel. You guys actually make my boring days better." Oh, I like that. I love comments like that. Thank you for finding us entertaining. Samantha Stansberry commented, "I can't believe Lindsay said hi back in the live chat. Thank you so much. It made my day. Love the vid, guys." And guess what? Now you're getting a comment shout out from me too. So if you guys didn't know, on Mondays and Fridays at around 12 Eastern Standard Time, we do live premieres. So come, chat to me, chat to Olivia, chat to Rachel, chat to us all in the live chat. Justin Cameron commented, "I have friends say Lindsay is a psycho, but I just tell them, she is too cute to be a psycho." Where do I begin? Number 1, why do you think I'm a psycho? Okay. Okay. Number 2, there are some psychos out there that are cute or good looking and you would be like, nah, they're not a psycho, and it turns out they're a psycho. So maybe just be careful. But I'm not one, I promise. Alright guys, that's all the comments I'm shouting out for today's video. Make sure to comment something down below for a chance to be featured in my next comment shout out. And as always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to Most Amazing Top 10 for more amazing videos. I've been your host, Lindsay Ivan, and I'll see you when I see ya.